Gods of the theater, smile on us.
You who sit up there stern in judgment, smile on us.
You who look down on actors, and who doesn't, bless this yearly festival and smile on us. We offer you songs.
So welcome to episode 17 of Thespis in the Green Room, and we are your hosts, Bruce and Melanie.
Hello.
Hello. Well, today, what do we got going on today, Melanie?
We have our friend Ellen Jones.
Excellent. So we are going to welcome director Ellen Jones. Ellen has been in the business of show for over 25 years. She has an MFA in directing from Florida State University and has worked as a producer, director, casting director, and educator in theater, film, and television in numerous locations throughout the country. So Ellen is currently directing the Pulitzer Prize and Tony Award-winning play Doubt, a Parable by John Patrick Shanley for Center Stage's Fringe series in Greenville, which opens next week. The story is set in a Catholic school in the Bronx in the mid-60s, where the principal, a very stern and disciplined nun, Sister Aloysius, suspects a priest, Father Flynn, of having an inappropriate relationship with a young male student. And so the story unfolds as she sets out to uncover the truth. Yeah.
I'm super excited. I love that show.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Have you seen that show?
I have. Actually, I haven't seen... Oh, yeah, I've seen it on stage as well as the movie.
Yeah,
so, yeah,
me
I've seen
too.
both of them.
I saw it up in Flat Rock.
Yeah, okay.
On stage, and then I've seen the movie.
All right.
So good.
Yeah.
Such a good show.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Yeah, Doubt is probably one of Shanley's best-known works. People might know him from Moonstruck, the film.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He wrote the screenplay, which had Cher and...
Yes, Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage.
Mm-hmm.
Doubt had a very successful run when it was on Broadway. It won the 2005 Tony Award for Best Play, and a lot of the actors and directors. It was up for a bunch of stuff, and it took home quite a few of those awards that year. And it also won the Pulitzer Prize for Drama in 2005. And, of course, it was adapted into an Academy Award-nominated film starring Meryl Streep, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Amy Adams, and Viola Davis.
Yeah, all wonderful, wonderful actors.
Yeah, this is really good. So I'm really looking forward to what Ellen has to say about the show.
Yeah, me too. Let's have a listen.
Okay.
Dixit Domino stamina mea, sedeat extris meis. Done poram inimicos tuos, scabellum perum tuorum. Gloria Patri et Filia et Spiritui Sancta. Sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen. Rex admirabilis et triumphator nobilis, dulcedo ineffabilis, totus desiderabilis, totus desiderabilis.
Ellen, welcome to the Green Room.
Thank you for having me today.
Oh, our pleasure as always. We're happy to have you talk about Doubt and your participation in this production with Center Stage. So tell us, what's the story about, and why has it been so successful?
I guess the story is about doubt and what speculation can do. There's a really fantastic monologue that the father has in the play about gossip and how gossip triggers all kinds of mayhem, speculation, unsubstantiated.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's what the story is about. But the interesting triangle of characters, you've got two extremists pulling in opposing directions, and interestingly enough, playwright has said it where there were substantial changes in the Catholic Church. The priest turning from upstaging himself to the altar to turning and facing the congregation, for example. Latin masses becoming, spoken in English. So there's sort of like old Vatican, Vatican I and Vatican II are diametrically pulling, and then you have this innocent sort of novice in the new young nun who is really caught up like a child, really not knowing who to believe.
Right.
And because it's all gossip based, there's nothing really substantiated. So when there is gray matter, we cast shadows of doubt.
Doubt, actually. Right. Okay. So what attracted you to this play, and why did you want to direct it?
It's interesting. I don't want to go too far off point for you, but for me, the theater obligates itself in some way to social responsibility. I am not... I love musicals, but the musicals that I've directed have more social implication than just sort of entertainment. I'm not a big... that's what I do television film for. I feel like the theater, not unlike a church, is it held in hand by the father, the minister, the deacon, the pastor, whoever's at the head of that congregation, to sort of inform, inspire, challenge, develop social structure. And I always tend to gravitate towards plays. I think, the two plays that I've done since I've been here in the Greenville area are driven by theme and dramatic content.
Right. And
hopefully leave an audience questioning, opening their minds, conversing for either social change or social understanding. That's my relationship to the theater. It's kind of like, what's your relationship to God?
Right.
Everybody has a different approach to it, and that's cool. I'm not, knocking anybody else. But when I looked at the season, that was of substantial interest to me because of the content and what it had to say, and hopefully what it will instill in the audience's mind to open up dialogue about the situation, specifically in the Catholic Church and in general, when we're often looking at each other's differences and not our similarities, and what brings us together in factual base as opposed to opinion or gossip.
Right.
So I think it has a lot of relevance. And
yeah, I think so too as well. I mean, like you said, because the theme of the play, the subject matter and the theme are different. I mean, they're not. I mean, they're tied together, of course, in the show, but the theme can be transverse to all sorts of different settings. So yeah,
I think so. Yeah, I think so. And I think that's, for me, a lot. It's like sort of good art in general leaves not a dictate or a mandate by the artist, but it's in the mind. The art really happens in the mind of the audience, or the observer. So
somebody coming away with a different perspective.
I think, and I almost hope that they do, so that there's conversation,
right,
about it.
Yeah. Have you seen this show done before on stage?
I have not.
No. Okay. Do you try to stay away from...
I do.
Yeah, okay.
I do.
I didn't get to ask, but I think you know what I mean.
I'm a mind reader, Bruce. You know what? I've been in your brain.
There you go.
So I know what's up there rattling around. I think too, certainly for your audiences, a little bit about my background. I really love and have been active in the development of new plays. And in doing so... you don't have.
Right.
There is no, you can't go cheat and look it up and do dramaturgical work, and it's brand new.
Yeah.
So you're birthing this baby from inception on, and I kind of like to do that with a play, even if it has a history.
Sure.
Because I think if it's not unique and authentically mine, then I'm not sure why I'm doing it. It's been already done.
Sure. Yeah. Cool. So these characters each have a specific and often opposing position in the story. And how did you and the cast approach the development and backstory for these characters?
I keep them on opposing sides of the room.
You don't let them talk to
I
one another
don't.
at all? No.
I say
No communication outside of-
blue, you're yellow, and you're red, and you go in your corners.
And you're all against one another.
Come
right?
out fighting. The funny thing is it's not too far from the truth. At the first table read, I had chats with each of the actors about their characters and their secrets, the things they don't tell the others. It's not part of the script.
Mm-hmm.
The internal monologue, stuff like that. And
Do you ask them to come with this backstory a little bit? Or?
Listen, I don't, but I have a tendency of casting really talented people, and so try to stop them.
Right, sure.
They're going to come loaded,
Yeah.
with their ideas and points of view, and that's fantastic. And so I can chip away, and let it reveal itself as opposed to trying to impose stuff on it.
Right.
But no, I never ask. Do your homework, write a thing. That's for class.
Right,
If I'm teaching class, I'll make
That's
people
different,
do
sure,
that. But
yeah.
Professionally speaking, the world that I've come from before Greenville, you can't really ask an equity actor to do anything before the first day of rehearsal, so you don't do that.
Yeah.
But try to stop them.
Right.
If they're worth their salt, they're coming, ready.
Prepared,
They're ready to go, man.
Yeah.
They want to get in the ring and start it going.
Sure.
And hopefully, if I've done my job right in the casting element, then I've authentically chosen diametric opposition. Not to name drop, but Mark Madoff used to say when we were having script writing class, just put 3 people in a room with diametric opinions and you have drama.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, the play is well crafted that way, and so it's not too difficult. I'm very pleased with my cast.
That's great. Excellent. So what have been, well, so you've been very pleased, but what have been some of the biggest challenges in directing this then? Or maybe it's been easy for you. I don't know. You tell me.
I think that if we challenge ourselves, if I'm responsible for the challenges. I think it's more practical issues, like it's a fringe show.
Right.
So here's $5 in 5 minutes and bring a play.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
So that's difficult.
Sure.
It's also on the set of a Shaboom.
Right. So it's on the set of a rock show, which is
right.
Yeah.
So that's very uniquely challenging. I mean, trying to do a 1964 Catholic church and parochial school on a jukebox designed by John Fagan. So it's really like fun.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, it's like we should just done it on a twister board and see what happens, like spin the dial and see.
Now you're dating yourself.
Yeah, well,
Twister's
board. just as fun. Just as fun as the Wurlitzer. So I think that's uniquely challenging.
Sure.
So you really have to focus on what's already in my wheelhouse, which is what's the beat of action, what's the internal movement, because you're limited. I have like 3 pieces of furniture, and the world of the play has to be envisioned very clearly for me so that I can paint it for them, because it doesn't actualize.
Right.
It's not there.
Yeah.
I don't have the support of things.
Right. Do you think, has your cast been challenged by that, or how have they been?
They're pretty damn fabulous.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
they really are. They will go where I lead them. God bless them.
Yeah.
They really will.
Good.
They're very willing. I haven't dropped them, so they trust me.
That's good.
We joke about it, but that's really as important as my master's degree, because before I had a master's degree, I still had to win the trust of an actor. And they're putting their very vulnerable selves in your hands.
Right.
And there's a reliability factor that, they're vulnerable and they want to go where you want to lead them. And that means there's a lot of trust.
Yep. They have to be willing also.
Absolutely.
But you're right. They have to trust you. And
Yeah. Because I've met people that are willing that won't, if they don't trust, there's no going there.
Okay. So tell us, what's the message of doubt?
The message.
The message of doubt.
The message.
Shanley calls it a parable.
Yeah.
So
the parable, though, if you look it up, Webster's of course, there's a million definitions for parable, but Webster's has this great, and then they use biblical story. So as long as there's a morality question, it's a parable.
Right.
So I think that the function of the doubt is to question unsubstantiated things.
Okay.
And I don't want to talk about what it's supposed to be for them, because I'm trying to change it every day so that it doesn't have, so it has a mercurial feeling. So the one guy in row C will have a different experience than the guy in row G.
Right.
And it depends on what he's looking at, where his lens is. One of the things, again, I'm sorry to keep going back to the difference between the theater and film and television, but I'm in control of the lens with that camera, and I'm focusing my narrative exactly where I want you to observe. Right. In the theater, I don't have that luxury, so I try to almost full Monty move those balls around so that if you...
No pun intended.
Yeah, like if you're looking over here and you're looking over here, you're going to see a different tale.
Right.
You know, did you see the tremble? Did you see the smirk? Did you see, some undercurrent of nuance that changes the subtext, if you will, So I'm trying to do as much of that as I can.
What do you think the audiences will leave talking about? Do you think it'll be more...
I hope it's like, Martha, do you think he did it? I don't know. I think she's wrong. Oh, I liked him. She was mean. I hope they just are bickering in the lobby.
So you want them to talk about the decision, not about where it's coming from. I mean, why it's happening.
Yeah, no, I hope that they're trying to figure out who's right and who's wrong.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's going to be fun.
I hope so.
What do you think makes this play relevant today?
Oh gosh,
I mean, the Catholic Church, of course, has been in the news, before.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? That's true. And I, I call myself a recovering Catholic. I grew up Catholic,
right?
And bless the Catholic Church. I mean, it's not the only place that pedophilia has run.
No.
So they're taking the blow.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying they don't deserve it. I mean, obviously, but I, I love this Pope, and I don't think you should throw the whole baby out with the bathwater. And all religion is not Catholic, and I don't know. It'd be an interesting question for God coming back to say, what do you think about this big mess?
Right, sure.
But there's also political ramifications of it. It's like the whole gossip thing is a substantial...
Well, it's interesting because you talked about this being unsubstantiated in a way. And so there's the question, there's the doubt. And then we just had this big thing with, Kavanaugh. And not substantiated, but
absolutely.
But yet, we're kind of facing the same thing. And then people got to make a decision about who they believe. So,
absolutely. I think there's a lot of that now because people, well, honestly, just the nightly news. Because
true.
You're like, wait a minute, what was the source of that?
Right.
You're
we get so far away from it.
And by the time it's caught, they're on to like 5 more stories before you're figuring out if it's accurate.
Right.
So I think but there's some wonderful spiritual books that I've read over the years that talk about time sociologically moving so quickly that we can't keep up with it, and we're living there now, where it's steamrolling.
It's because we have access to so much information so readily, so quickly.
That the quality of it, more is not better.
Right. Yeah.
Or it's not better.
Yeah. It's like a smorgasbord. Not everything on there tastes great. Some things are really good. Yeah. Some things look great, but they just don't taste so good.
Yeah.
It's kind of like not everything, because they're preparing food en masse.
Yeah. It's by the truffle, so just have at it.
Hopefully you'll find something that's really good.
Yeah. Okay, but this has nothing to do with doubt. So. Hopefully that's not the takeaway.
No.
But I mean, I do think that there's relevance. Here's the thing about humanity. Wow, that sounded really arrogant. But here's the thing about humanity.
From Ellen's perspective, right?
Here's my understanding, personally, unsubstantiated, about humanity. We just keep doing the same things. It really, we wear different clothes and we cut our hair different and the music changes, but the human animal hasn't really evolved all of that much.
Right, true. Yeah.
So I think that's also part of the value of a parable, is that, that lesson, you can keep telling it 100 years from now. It has value.
Sure.
I think there is relevance, and I hope that they find it. And if they don't, they can tell me about it. I'll be in the lobby.
That's right. Fielding questions. Well, now, Ellen, tell us a little bit more about you. How did you come to directing? I mean, when did you all of a sudden say, that's what I want to do? Or, we all come to this, the arts or to theater or what have you from this different vantage point, maybe school, maybe community, maybe whatever. And then all of a sudden, those that kind of head off into like a full-time, this is what I want to do with my life. There's some kind of epiphany that they come to. How did that all happen for you?
That's a pretty great question. I don't even know if I've ever been asked that.
Really?
All the interviews I've ever done.
We the good question askers.
Yeah. I did a little bit of everything, but I think it's just authentically who I am. And my mother loves to tell the story of when I was just like 4 or 5 and I was talking, had my cousins all like in costumes and directing them. And you're going to be the baby Jesus and you're going to wear my ballerina costume. So apparently I was a very pushy kind of Darla from our gang as a child.
Right.
But I did, I did my acting. I did my playwriting.
Right.
I did my stage management. When I came up through undergraduate in Philadelphia, the program was you had to do all of it.
Right.
You had to do all of it.
Which is good.
You built sets, you ran lights, you hung lights, I ran sound. It was reel to reel back then.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
So, so you really got a good, strong, but for a director, honestly, it was really the best thing because...
Well, you understood where the challenges of it for your counterparts.
I understood how it all worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that helped. But I've been drawn to it, I think, just instantaneously. I started in college directing. I remember the first play that I wrote for competition. It won a competition and was staged with 2 others in an evening. I won't remember the girl's name who directed it, but I remember thinking, well, if I want this to be working the way I want this to be working, I better be directing my own work. So,
do you think that's a good idea, directing your own work?
So I started directing my own work. But I haven't written since I directed. Since I started directing, I haven't written anything again. So honestly, it's I don't know what else I would be doing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a terrible thing to say, but
no, I don't think so.
You know how actors say, I don't know what else I'd be doing? I sincerely, genuinely, I don't know.
Right.
If I'm at home in the kitchen, I'm directing. If we're planning a trip, I'm directing.
Sure.
So,
I know you have a history also with casting and film and all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So those are very different mediums to the theater, of course.
They are
film to theater.
They are substantially different in terms of approach and technique. Mm-hmm. I don't know that they're so different in how you effectively storytell. I think a good storyteller is a good storyteller. Right. But
is there one you prefer over the other?
To be honest, you have more control as a director with a camera. Mm-hmm. I get what I want. It's edited the way I want.
Right, sure.
And it will play like that consistency
that's
forever and ever. And when I leave, it's still there. You haven't decided, Bruce Meal, to go upstage right instead of go upstage left.
Right.
So where in the theater, I really have to trust that I've hopefully done a good job and more importantly got the actors on board in the vision to pursue the same course of action every night, even if it modulates, and it should.
Yeah.
But there's something authentically continuing on that doesn't change dramatically, but you have more control with the camera for sure. And there is consistency. And of course you have immortality because it's,
it's in the can.
Yeah. There's an enormous intimacy that comes from the theater that I love, love, love. But the greatest heartbreaks of my life have been the closings of shows because they're over.
Yeah.
And they're never coming back, I'm thinking about a couple of things in my head that I worked on that, they took years to come to fruition.
Oh, yeah. And when they close, then it's like you spent so much time getting it together and then now it's done. It's one thing to put up a show in, 6 weeks, 8 weeks or whatever. And you're still invested, of course, and it's still special. But I suppose something you've invested more time, that's just that much more special.
It feels like like you've been left by a lover, It's so sad.
Yeah.
A few years back, I had the really great fortune to develop a children's musical piece with Maureen McGovern. Mm-hmm. And we spent a year in the writing and developing of that piece, and then another year in pre-production putting it up.
Wow.
And it was an intense labor of love. Mm-hmm. And when it closed, it was just like I had lost a family member. I was sad.
Yeah.
It was tragically
I
sad
can
when
understand.
it was over.
I mean, I've seen plenty of people be sad when the show closes too.
Oh,
and-
sure.
But that's something something you've really spent a lot of time
When you're writing and
energy
developing
yeah,
it and
yeah,
all that, you
yeah.
really get invested in it. Sure,
Yeah.
like your kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have a dream job?
Yours. I want your job, Bruce.
No, you don't.
It's going to sound corny, but I think I've had the dream. I love being able to do. I'm very grateful that God has given me the opportunity to do as much as I've done. Really, sincerely, not to sound corny, but I love to. I'm directing Doubt right now, and it's a wonderful, substantial piece. And soon, when that's opened, I will start with the most hysterically funny, ridiculous comedy, and that'll be lovely.
This is a future project, so tell us about this future project.
Well, we'll have to come back to that. I
No?
think.
You don't want to tell us anything?
I don't want to tell you too much, but it's going to be great fun.
Okay.
But I think that is the dream job. You know, I can do this fantastic drama. I'm still coaching actors in Los Angeles, so a lot of my students who are in LA, I still Skype and coach, and I'm teaching, and I'm doing more gardening, and I'm still chefing, and so yeah, it's kind of marvelous. I'd love to be doing more of it and making more money. That would be the dream.
Right.
But as far as what I'm actually doing, I love that I can do that. I think about how worse it could be. I could be living in a third world country making car parts.
This is true.
So this is
or clothing or garments. Yeah.
So I feel very grateful.
That's great.
Yeah.
Super. Well, we thank you for joining us today. We're looking forward to seeing Doubt. It opens January 22nd, 7 p.m. Tuesday at Center Stage, downtown Greenville. So we're looking forward to checking it out. I'm hoping to be there with you opening
That'd be
night.
fantastic.
Yeah, that's the goal. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. You guys have a great time in your green room.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bless our show, bless our music, bless the songs we're gonna sing, bless the stage that we'll stand on when we stand and do our thing. Bless each line, every number, all the steps that we've rehearsed, and allow us somehow to be great at the worst. Bless each note and each lyric, help us try to stay on key. Bless the lights and the soundboard, bless our choreography, from the top of the downbeat till the final curtain call. Bless the day, bless our show, bless it all. Well, that's all for everybody. Good night and God bless.
No, wait, Mary Clarence, wait. There's still so much more to pray for.
But what did I leave out? I bless the soundboard, for Christ's sake.
Bless our props, bless our costumes.
Give our sequins extra glitz. Bless our moves.
Make 'em killer. Let us nail the funky bits.
Bless our vibe. Give us mojo.
Help our booty shake on cue.
Let us rest when we're stressed so our best shines through.
Bless our wrists and arrangements, let our solos truly rock.
Help us tear up the sucker till they hear us down the block.
Let us lay down the boogie till it's bouncing wall to wall.
Bless our mics, bless our amps.
Bless it all. Let our voices gleam and glisten. Grant us strength to sing.
So Doubt, a Parable by John Patrick Shanley runs Tuesdays and Wednesdays at 7 p.m., opening January 22nd and running through February 6th as part of Center Stage Fringe Series. For tickets, visit centerstage.org. That's Center, C-E-N-T-R-E, or call 864-233-6733.
Well, that was a fantastic interview with Ellen.
Yeah, I enjoyed talking with her.
Yeah, she's got some really great insight into the show that she's directing.
Her approach is always very cerebral. I enjoy that.
Yeah, I like that. I like
Very
that.
analytical.
Yes. And Bruce took the lead on that one because when we interviewed Ellen, I was in the room, but I wasn't feeling very good that
A little
day.
under the weather.
So
Yeah.
I didn't say much because
That's
my
okay.
voice was a bit scratchy.
But you were there.
I was there.
You were there.
I found it absolutely fascinating. I'm really looking forward to seeing that show.
Me too. Me too.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, there are a few things. We're starting to get back in the swing.
That's
of
right.
The
Kicking off
theater
the new year.
seasons. So there's a few things to talk about in the show listings.
Excellent.
So here we go.
Here we are.
Another opening, another show in Philly, Boston, or Baltimore.
A chance for stage folks to say hello.
Another opening of another show. Another job that you hope at last.
Now playing and show openings in the upstate of South Carolina for the week of January 13th, 2019. Opening this weekend, Center Stage in Greenville opens its annual rock show. This one is called Shaboom Shaboom, and it opens Thursday, January 17th and runs Thursdays through Sundays through February 10th. Milltown Players in Pelzer opens Crimes of the Heart on Friday, February 18th and runs Thursdays through Sundays through February 3rd. And as previously mentioned, Center Stage in Greenville opens its Fringe Series production of Doubt, a Parable on Tuesday, January 22nd, and runs Tuesdays and Wednesdays through February 6th.
Continuing, the national tour of Miss Saigon continues its run at the Peace Center in Greenville through Sunday, January 20th. Spartanburg Little Theater continues its run of A Funny Thing Happens on the Way to the Forum this weekend through Sunday, January 20th. And Alchemy Comedy Theater offers a variety of improv and sketch shows at various times and days at Coffee Underground in Greenville. Check the individual theaters' websites for more information.
Then follow.
Hello there, theater people. We hope you are enjoying spending time in the green room. Want to stay updated? Like and follow Thespis in the Green Room on social media. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ThespisG. That's @ ThespisG. ThespisG.
Money, 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 money,
Want to support Thespis in the Green Room? If you like what you're hearing and want to encourage us to continue conversations in the Green Room, you can become a patron of the show. Visit our Patreon page. That's Patreon, patreon.com/ThespisG. And donate today. No amount is too small, and every little bit helps. Patrons will receive special content and audio extras through our Patreon page. Check it out at patreon.com/ThespisG.
Good night and thank you, whoever. We are grateful you found her a spot on the sound radio. We'll think of you every time.
Special thanks to Dick Stevens of Stevens Magic and Fun. He can be found on Facebook at Stevens Magic and Fun.
Thespis would like to extend a big thank you to our fellow podcasters Teddy and the Bassman for their help and guidance. Listeners can find Teddy and the Bassman at teddyandthebassman.podbean.com or through podcast players, iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher. Thespis in the Green Room is a Courageous Crossings production. Music used in this podcast is licensed by ASCAP and BMI.
What comes next? You've been freed.
Well, I think that's it for this episode, Bruce.
I think so too. It's been fun as usual.
Yes. Lots of good stuff coming up. I hope
That's
to catch some.
Absolutely. Me too. Me too. Look forward to chatting to you about it next time.
Yes, indeed.
All right. See ya.
See ya.